Welcome, everyone, to the Monday, August 4th, 2025, 2 p.m. Rules Committee meeting. I'll open the meeting. If we'll start over on our left side with Mr. Dennis, we'll do self-introduction, please.
Good afternoon, Garrett Dennis, Administration.
Nayeli Jimenez, Council Research. Carla Lopera, Office of General Counsel.
Trista Carraher, Council Auditor's Office.
Ken Amaro, City Council District 1.
Randy White, District 12.
Terrence Freeman at Large, Group 1.
Chris Miller at Large, Group 5.
Ron Salem at Large, Group 2.
Mike Gay, District 2.
Good afternoon, Michael Boylan, District 6.
Good afternoon, Rockman Johnson, District 14, just visiting.
Good afternoon, Gaffney Jr., District 8.
All right, thank you, everyone. What we're going to do is we're going to start with public comment, and as a reminder, and I didn't specify this last time, so I want to be really specific here. Those who are coming for public comment, please keep your comments directly addressing the things that are before us today with the Rules Committee. If you have general comments, overall type things, the overall City Council meeting on every other Tuesday night would be the appropriate time for those comments. So far we only have one card here for public comment, and that is Mr. Blake Harper. If you'll please come forward. State your name and address for the record, please.
Blake Harper, information on file. First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for having public comment. It's a very important part of the deliberative process. And to your comments, I am going to be speaking on the general issue of why I'm standing against this and why I think that it needs to be withdrawn. General policy and general function that the City Council has with regards to the school board. And by reminder of, by working off of what the chairman specifically talked about, we had a situation where Elizabeth Anderson was put up for a board position with the library. There are two citizens who had specific direct experience with her agenda and with how she behaved and the things she did. Those two people ran for school board positions and won. And when they came down to speak, they did not come down to invoke the school board or the stature of the school board in the matter of the appointment of Elizabeth Anderson, but to speak as private citizens. Again, this is an issue that deals specifically with the headquarters. It's a policy-making decision that the school board has to make. They have a $100 million deficit, just like you all do. They're looking to dispose of property and realign their property as a way to deal with that monetary deficit. That's exactly why they're looking at what they're doing. And they need all of the leeway and all of people staying out of trying to put their thumb on the scale to get this accomplished. So that's why I'm standing against it. That's why I spoke about the situation regarding the library board, because they behave the way somebody on city council is supposed to behave. If you have an issue, you don't like something the school board's doing, go down there and speak as a private citizen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. That concludes our public comment time. I wanted to welcome Council Member Boylan. Sorry, I saw you go out, and I didn't see we caught you. Okay, that's my fault. I saw you come out and come back in. Thank you. What we're going to do first, and you should have a handout on this, we're going to take up the appointments first, and then we'll move on to the visiting council members' bills. And as soon as we're done with those bills, we'll go to the start of your printed agenda and go straight on through the agenda from there. I think before Ms. Parola comes up, this is page 11, item number 14. Before she comes up, I believe Council Member Salem had a comment, I believe, on these. Is that correct?
Not exactly, but I'll bring it up now. I'm very comfortable with the two appointments today, met with both of them. Through the chair to Mr. Dennis, my understanding is the mayor is going to insist that a member of her administration be present when council members on rules are interviewing mayoral appointments. Are you aware of that, and can you confirm that?
Through the chair, yes, we will be attending meetings with appointments. It is something that has been done in the past in prior administrations, and something that we'll continue that practice today. Just like I think a recent appointment to your office, you chose to meet with that individual by yourself, and that's your prerogative, that's your office. But we will just make sure that each nominee make their appointment, and if there's any issues, anything like that, we'll be right there to assist them to navigate the halls of City Hall.
But Mr. Dennis, you've confused me, so let me make myself perfectly clear. Will I be allowed to meet with appointments by myself?
Through the chair, Councilman Salem, just like I said, there was a nominee that came to your office this week, and you asked for the member of the administration not to be inside or not to attend, and which we oblige. So again, the purpose of or the position of the administration, we will escort any nominee to make sure that they are prepped and ready to meet with the members of the body.
Okay, but if this is a yes or no, if I say I want to meet with this candidate, because I don't want to waste a bunch of time scheduling appointments if I'm not going to be allowed to meet with them by myself. I've been interviewing people for over 40 years. I don't need a chaperone. So my question is, they can escort them, come to my office, but if I say I want to meet with this appointment by myself, will I be allowed to do that?
Through the chair, yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I wanted to bring that up before we got into specific appointees. Nominees, rather. So thank you for that clarification. My position on it is it's up to each individual council member how they want to do that. My preference is to meet one-on-one as well, and that's what I've been doing and will continue to do as well. But, in my opinion, the council members should be able to make that decision on how they'd like to do that. So thank you for clarification, Mr. Dennis. So we'll move right into the nominees. The first person is Ms. Parola as Director of Planning and Development. If you'll please come forward. We have a motion and a second on the bill. And Ms. Parola, if you would please just give us a little bit about your background. Had a wonderful meeting on the phone this time. Last time was in person. And I really appreciated your overview and your insight into things that you'd like to look at going forward. We talked about, in my opinion, the need for more strategic planning, looking 3, 5, 10 years, trying to see how we can do more of that kind of planning rather than things that seem to me to be more on executing things that are coming up in the following year. I appreciated your willingness to take on some of those recommendations and appreciate your background. I think this is the 5th administration you'll have served with?
Over 27 years.
Yeah. Across different administrations, different backgrounds from those mayors, and every interaction I've had with you has been wonderful. So again, if you would just give us all just a little bit of an overview of your background and why you think that's a good fit, and you're acting right now, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so please share with us a little bit.
Okay, thank you. I have been with the planning department over 27 years, started off in the historic preservation section right when Riverside Avondale came on as a local district. Spent about 10 years in that area, learning the core of our city and understanding that sense of place in the history of our city, where it started and how it expanded out from there. That gave me a really good sense of place, along with the fact that I am from Jacksonville. My family is from Jacksonville. My mom was a public school teacher for over 40 years, and my dad served in administrations for the city and the state government as well. So I am used to the idea of that type of public service, and I'm super excited to be able to continue that in my generation and in future generations of my family. I then moved on to community planning, where we dealt with the comprehensive plan and land use amendments, how they interact with the zoning code, how any intensification of land use will affect our schools, how it will affect our roadway system. So constant interaction with the transportation division, the current planning division, and one of our newer aspects is the resilience office and how that affects flood, and how to better plan for the future for flood resilient projects and appropriate areas to do that type of planning. So I'm very used to working with all departments, all divisions in the planning department. And through those many years, that also required coordination with other departments such as Public Works, state entities. All of our comprehensive plan amendments have to go directly to the state. We deal with DEP, Florida Commerce, Fish and Wildlife, St. John's Water Management District. I'm very used to dealing with other entities like that. I do feel like in the planning department is, I know the people there, I know the divisions. They are very committed workers. Even the younger people that we've been hiring recently, very committed, very excited to lead and move our department forward on many things. And we've already done many things that I'm very excited about to implement and see where we can go and how we can help Jacksonville be a better community. I love the city. I want to see what's best for the city. I want my children to stay here.
Thank you very much. We have one person in the queue, and actually two now, but the first one is I recognize Councilmember White, please.
Yes, sir, through the chair. Thank you, Chair. I just want to be added as a co-sponsor. I did not meet Ms. Parola because I've been around them many years too, and I've seen what she's done. Very well qualified, and I'm tickled that she's taken this position. And just please add me as a co-sponsor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, recognize Councilmember Amaro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just very quickly wanted to have my endorsement of Ms. Parola for the position. Having met with her when I came on board, and she was going into that her current previous capacity with the planning department, and now she's up to lead the department. I have been impressed with her temperament, her institutional knowledge, the wisdom. She has the depth, knowing that our city as well as her department will be facing many challenges in the years ahead, and I think she is truly the right person for this time. I'm a big promoter of believing in hiring from within when you have qualified individuals, because while the grass is always looking greener on the other side, sometimes it's not. So I congratulate her on this elevation in her position, and I'm a big supporter of hers right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go next to Vice Chair Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to Ms. Parola. One, thank you for putting yourself forward. I oftentimes like to just express my gratitude for that, and thank you for responding. Very, very detailed responses. Probably one of the most comprehensive write-ups that I've had. But there was one thing that you wrote that I just wanted to preface as a father of daughters, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, and it says, "I brought my husband here." That type of leadership is something that I admire.
The most important. Thank you.
I wanted to thank you for actually putting that in writing as well. So I'm going to show it to my daughters one day. They have a great one. And I would like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to visiting Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, I know Ms. Parola and I've been trying to meet and figure out schedules and that kind of thing. I do have an email coming your way for a few questions. I do have a quick question here, since we're probably not going to have the chance to meet because of your obligations next week. But I got to say this as well. I had a chance to know your father, Mitch Atala, who was an amazing public servant. And while I was a very young guy, he never treated me as though I was just a kid trying to figure out the city. Mr. Atala was he and Mr. Musa, Mr. Hester, they were just really good guys to me. And so I see that in you, and I'm so thankful that Atala legacy continues here, and I have to say that publicly. What's your vision for the future, though, as we move into planning a city, Duval County being the city of the future, the opportunities that exist with planning means that our city moves into the stratosphere. If you could just give me a quick 30 seconds, what does that look like for you?
Well, right now, the city of Jacksonville is so big that on the planning side of things, I do feel like we need to maybe look at smaller areas, little bits at a time. You'll see that with the Vision Zero plan. We're looking at the idea of 0 fatalities, and we're looking at ways to implement the recommendations from that plan. You'll see that in Resilient Jacksonville. We have the recommendations and we find different ways to implement them throughout the department, which includes the land use and zoning component. We will be looking to start a zoning code update. We have hopefully the beginning of a way to move forward. We'll probably start with the different aspects of the zoning code that do not make sense anymore, uses that do not make sense anymore, putting the right verbiage in there, the right location, and bringing things up to date with today's uses, which are different than what they were 30 years ago. That would be the start of the zoning code update, and then as the years progress, that will get larger and hopefully tackle into some other plans that are going on at the same time. So I think we've also got the East Side zoning overlay that looks at a smaller area that has not been approved by council yet, and there might be some issues with the new Senate bill that passed in order to get that moved forward. A Durkeeville neighborhood study plan that's in draft form as well. That one will not be held back by the Senate Bill 180. But looking at smaller parts of the community, I've been to every city council meeting, every land use and zoning committee where people explain and come for public comment, and you can tell how passionate they are about where they live. I've taken all of that in. So I think it's appropriate to kind of look at a smaller level and know what people care about.
Thank you. We'll go next to Councilmember Amaro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Very quickly, one thing I forgot to do was ask Legislative Services to add my name to the bill. And secondly, Ms. Parola, I did not know Mitch was your dad. In my journey, I've dealt with Mitch over the years. One heck of a guy. One heck of a guy. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll next go to Councilmember Salem.
Thank you, Chair. Councilmember Mark, you stole my thunder. I did not know that either. And I got to know your father when he was the CAO to Mayor Hazuri. If there was one thing that I could describe your father, he was loyal.
Yes.
He was a loyal guy. And my Uncle Salem obviously served in that administration as well. So that's neat to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else in the queue, 2025-0476, please open the ballot and record your votes.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0476. And I did want to mention also, Ms. Parola, if you're available next Tuesday night for the City Council meeting, we will be recognizing all new appointees. Not required, but happy to see you there and in front of the public. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you. And the next item you'll see on page 11 has been deferred. That's 2025-0477 at the request of the administration. And then we move on to Page 12, item 16, 2025-0478. I have a motion and a second. Ms. Holder does not need to be here. Is Ms. Holder here, though, by chance? Okay. She does not need to be here, so we can move this as is. No speakers on the queue. Please open the ballot and record your votes.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. By your actions, you have approved 2025-0478. We'll now go to page number 9, item number 10. I need to make sure I get on the right item here. 2025-0471. We have a motion and second on the bill. Anyone on the queue, would you like to speak? Councilman Member Gaffney, please.
Yeah, I can. This will be brief. Pretty much this legislation's appropriate $125,000 to list for micro grants for small businesses. All the small businesses can participate throughout the city of Jacksonville, so it's just not District 8. The funds is coming from the Enhancement Fund. Originally, these funds were designated for FBOT, but unfortunately, they are not ready to move forward, and these funds lapse October 1st. So that's pretty much it, but I stand by for any questions.
I don't see anyone in the queue, so please open the ballot and record your votes.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2025-0471. We'll now move to, please, Mr. Gaffney.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And we did have a representative, Dr. Chester, here from LIST, if anybody had any questions. I know we already voted on it, but she was here. But
All right, thank you very much. We will now go to page 5. You want to move with me there? Item number 6, it's 2025-0466. We have a motion and a second on the bill. Councilmember Johnson, would you like to speak to this bill?
Not really, but if there are questions, questions only. Yeah, questions only.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no one on the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you approved 2025-0466. And if we'll move to page 7, item number 8, 2025-0468. We have a motion and second on the bill. We have Councilmember Johnson on the queue. I believe we might have an amendment. Please, Councilmember Johnson.
I've been asked, we already have, Mr. Chair, a contract with Girl Scouts. The amendment would be, if I could get a member of the committee, based on recommendation from the auditors and OGC, to amend this to amend the current contract that we have for the Girl Scouts and add these funds to that to be administered through KHA.
Mr. Maher, Councilmember Maher, are you on this amendment?
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Salem moved the amendment. I was going to move the amendment to have this added to the existing Girl Scout contract so we can move forward, satisfy the auditors.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the Johnson amendment. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, the same. The amendment passes. We have a motion and second on the bill as amended. Seeing no one else in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0468 as amended. We'll now move to page 8, Item number 9, that's 2025-0469. We have a motion second on the neighborhood substitute. Would someone please explain the substitute?
Through the chair to the committee, the substitute that was approved this morning in NCSPHS essentially just changes the oversight from the Grants and Contract Compliance Division to KHA. So a number of changes are needed in the bill. I'll run through them very quickly. We'll revise the account information to reflect the appropriation to KHA fund subsidies and contributions to private organizations account. We'll strike the waiver of Section 118-107 and replace it with a waiver of Section 77-111A to authorize the direct contract. We'll amend the 7th revised Schedule M and attach an 8th revised Schedule M as a new exhibit. That's KHA's schedule of funding. We'll include the CEO of KHA within the contract authorization language. We'll revise the Oversight Department from Grants and Contract Compliance to KHA, attach a revised Exhibit 1, which is the BT, to correct the account information to reflect KHA, and lastly, attach a revised Exhibit 2, which is the term sheet, to also reflect the updated oversight.
Thank you. We'll now go to Councilmember Boylan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just actually want to make an observation. If we could invite Mr. Freeman to join us in the mornings at neighborhoods meeting, the composition of this committee is the same as that, and we can get a lot of work done at the same time. Because I got the same 6, 7 people sitting here this morning. You and Mike just switch seats, and we'll just move on.
All right, thank you. I believe we need a vote on the substitute. Is that correct? Okay, all those in favor of the neighborhood substitute, please say aye. All those opposed, the same. The substitute passes. I have a motion and second on the bill as substituted. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you have approved 2025-0469 as substituted. Okay, we've been joined by Councilmember Peluso. You have a bill you'd like to have addressed. Okay, if we'll move to item number 4, please. Page 3. (2025-0435). Okay, we have a motion second on the neighborhoods amendment. Let's see. Do you want to speak to?
Thank you, Chair. Do you want to explain the amendment beforehand? It seemed.
Yeah, please do that. I'm thinking. I was in neighborhoods, so I knew what was here. So please, Ms. Caraher, if you would.
Yes, through the chair to the committee, the NCSPHS amendment adds a definition of the term adjacent as it relates to offenses occurring in an adjacent parcel or public right-of-way. We'll just clarify that has to be within 1,000 feet of the alleged nuisance property. We'll clarify the timeline of when offenses must occur for a property to be declared a public nuisance and correct some scrivener's errors within the bill.
Was there anything that you wanted Ms. Hartung to address as well?
Yes. To the chair, the second item, the clarification for the timeline, she might do a better job of explaining the specifics of that.
Ms. Hartung, if you would, please.
Yes, I'm happy to try again.
If you would state your name and address for the record, that would be great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Laura Hartung with the Office of General Counsel. Through the chair to the committee, the second part of the amendment clarifies the timeline when qualifying offenses must occur. Some background on how the Public Nuisance Abatement Board works might help. A property comes under the board's jurisdiction if a certain number of qualifying offenses occur within a certain period of time. Depending on what the offense is, depends on what the time period is, but it's either 6 months or 12 months. The current practice has been that properties are being considered for PNAB immediately after the second or third qualifying offense occurs. There's interest from community groups about looking backwards and considering properties where there have been 2 qualifying offenses within 6 months, but that 6-month period was a year ago. That is what this second part of the amendment is attempting to accomplish.
Thank you very much. We have on the queue Councilmember Boylan, please.
Thank you. Through the chair. So, in essence, what you're saying, if this property has a history of issues, is that's taken into account when the current issue is being addressed, going back to 12 months? Is that, am I understanding you correctly?
Through the chair to Councilmember Boylan, it would be up until 2 years.
2 years.
2 years in the past. Right now, JSO will be able to continue doing things as they've been doing them. This is intended, I believe, to give the board and JSO an additional tool where they can look back as far as 2 years to see if a property has those qualifying offenses and it is continuing to be a problem in the community.
Excuse me, through the chair. So let's say there's no current event. This provides the board the opportunity to say, even though there is no current event, let's go back 2 years because this particular piece of property or a situation has happened regularly. And we have a window of 2 years. You can go back today and look at the past 2 years and say, do we, we have an opportunity here to address this issue. Is that, am I understanding you correctly?
Yes and no. Yes, they would be able to look back 2 years. There are 2 conditions on looking back 2 years, though. The first is that ownership has not changed.
Okay.
And the second is that at least one qualifying offense has occurred within the last 90 days.
Okay, so it has to be a current event, 90 days, at which point in time sort of kicks in the opportunity to look back over the course of 2 years to see if there are additional events.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the queue? No? Seeing none, we need to take a vote on the amendment. All those in favor of the neighborhoods amendment, please signify by saying yay. All those opposed, the same. Neighborhoods amendment passes. I have a motion and second on the bill as amended. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your votes.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0435 as amended. Thank you. So we'll now, as I stated earlier, we'll start at the beginning. We'll go to item 1. It's being deferred at the request of Councilman Diamond. It's 2024-0627. Item number 2, 2024-0966, is also being deferred at the request of Council President Carrico. Turning the page, item number 3, 2025-0011, is being deferred at the request of the administration. We've already taken up item number 4, going to item number 5, 2025-0465. We have a motion second on the bill. We have Council Member Amaro in the queue. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is basically a cleanup bill of sorts. It was brought to my attention through the traffic engineering department. They basically did not want the responsibility of being the trustee of certain dollars on the front end of any of the applications. So now there's a shift as to where that responsibility lies. The adjustment felt necessary, and so I'm asking for your support on this legislation.
That was an amendment, correct? No? Okay, so no amendment.
Yes, there is. I'm I apologize. I was explaining the amendment, and maybe I was a little bit ahead of the game, but that is the amendment, and I'm asking for your support.
So you're making the motion.
Move the amendment, yes.
Yes, please, Ms. LaPere, you recognize.
Through the chair, Councilmember Romero, would you like me to explain the amendment? Okay, thank you. So this legislation modifies the required payment timeline when citizens make application requests for traffic calming measures. As written, it separates it out into a two-part process wherein the applicant needs to remit payment for the required mailed notices. And then once the mailers go out, if 75% neighborhood agreement is achieved, then the applicant remits payment for the cost of the traffic calming measures. Councilman Romero, I believe, wishes to introduce an amendment to remove that first part where the applicant remits payment for the notices and instead tack it on the end so that traffic calming is only invoicing and collecting payment one time after the 75% agreement of the adjacent property owners is achieved.
I have a motion and second on the Amaro amendment. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, the same. The amendment passes. I have a motion and second on the bill as amended. Councilmember Amaro, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. LaPere put the legislation in the proper posture. There's been a lot of crafting on this bill, back and forth, and so a number of changes that occurred. I think it's in the right place, and she has made it very clear as to what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else to get in the queue? Okay, Vice Chair Freeman, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Just guardrails got here, so I'm just trying to make sure we're in the right posture. So, Ms. LaPere, you were explaining Councilmember Amaro's amendment, and then we had another member on this body move the amendment. So now this becomes the Salem amendment, or is it the Amaro amendment? Because I would really want to make sure that whoever did the work or the credit. So I'm just so confused.
Through the chair to Councilmember Freeman, I believe it's the Amaro amendment moved by Councilmember Salem.
Okay, that's what we'll go forward with. Seeing no one else in the queue, please open the ballot and record your votes.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you very much. By your actions, you've approved 2025-0465 as amended. We're going to take a little detour here because Councilmember White has to move on to another engagement, and so I'm going to pass this over to him and make sure we hit the items that he needs to cover before he leaves. So please, Councilmember White.
Thank you, through the chair. I just want, if y'all go to page 17, and this is on seconds, but I just wanted to make sure I did it myself, even though I've already put myself as co-sponsors. Since they're here for Chief Golden and Chief Blanton and Chief Cook, I want to be a co-sponsor. I want them to know I'm a co-sponsor and how proud I am of them, of what they're doing and what they're going to do for the fire department. And I wanted to do that myself before I left for my doctor's appointment. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Okay. Thank you. We'll now go back. The next item, number 6, we've already taken up. We'll go to page 6, item number 7, 2025-0467. We have a motion on the amendment and a second. Please explain the amendment, Ms. Carraher.
Through the chair to the committee, the amendment will update the total outstanding lien balance to $36,483.32, which reflects the total as of the end of July. We'll correct the number of nuisance liens on the property from 15 to 16. We'll correct the oversight departments listed in the bill title. We'll attach a revised Exhibit 5, which is the list of liens to reflect the updated lien balances, again, as of the end of July. And lastly, it will attach a revised Exhibit 6, which is the agreement to update the lien balance and revise the language to reflect the after-the-fact approval of the lien abatement.
Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no one in the queue, all those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying yay. All those opposed, the same. The amendment passes. I have a motion and a second on the bill as amended. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your votes.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2025-0467 as amended. Turning the page, page 7, we've already taken up. Going to page 8, item number 9, 2025-0469, we've also already taken up. And page 9, item number 10, has also been addressed. Next item is page 10, item number 11, 2025-0472. It's being deferred at the request of Councilmember Gaffney Jr. Item number 12, 2025-0473 is being deferred. Turning the page, item number 13, 2025-0475 is being deferred. Yes, Councilmember Gay is on the queue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've requested this to be deferred because I think there's some more information that we need to get, and I'd like to call our OGC, Mr. Fackler, up, and a few questions. That this, I understand that, and concerned that we're still waiting on to get a final direction on how you're going to handle getting this written through the chair to Mr. Fackler.
Through the chair to Councilman Gay. So the issue was the resolution directs my office to draft an accompanying Exhibit A. So there's a little bit of a tension of, do we do it upon the filing or upon the passing of the resolution? So we struggled with that a bit. We think it's better so you have the full understanding of what's going to be submitted to have the exhibit with you when you go through that. So then we discussed what would be the appropriate party to draft that going forward. We thought since it's about me personally, it's probably best not to come from my office. We discussed with the ethics office whether it be appropriate for them to work with it. Ultimately, we decided to hire outside counsel, Ms. Hodges, who did that type of work when she was here. So our plan is to have Ms. Hodges draft something to accompany this resolution so that when you vote on it, you will have that exhibit to accompany it.
Okay, so through the chair, I guess my concern is one topic you brought up that coming from you, from your office, but in the no slight on Ms. Hodges at all, I have high regards for her, but at this current time, I believe you or the OGC has her under contract for several items now.
Through the chair to Mr. Gay, yes, and that's an added benefit as we don't have to contract with her. Additionally, she has been working with the GovOps department in my office for approximately a year, so it makes for a smooth transition to have her do this as well.
But I also, through the chair, see it as a potential conflict that is really not a biased potential representation, to where I feel like we can have some more dialogue on who actually is going to draft this. So I think there's other avenues that we can look at potentially using a different attorney in this matter.
Through the chair to Mr. Gay, I hear your concern. I don't believe that Ms. Hodges is in any way biased. She's been doing this work for 16 plus years. As the chief legal officer, we're designated to pick who we think is the most appropriate officer or the appropriate person to handle this. I believe Ms. Hodges is that. Alternatively, you guys can hire legislative counsel to draft it. If you believe that the person I select and whoever I select will have a relationship, I believe this would potentially fall under the Office of Legislative Counsel. But to the extent you've directed my office, I've gone beyond what I think is actually necessary and retained and spent extra funds to avoid the appearance of bias or impropriety and hired Ms. Hodges.
Well, and I want to clarify, through the chair, I want to clarify this and make sure I'm fully clear on this. There's no way I am saying that Ms. Hodges would be biased, okay? I have total confidence in her abilities, but also look at she's already under contract, and I feel like we need to have somebody that's totally separate, and so maybe we can take that into further discussions on how we want to go. There's other like I say, attorneys that one right off the top of my head is Jason Gabriel, that has done many state ethics opinions. I think he would be a good choice as well. But I will let the any other council member has any comments. But I think we kind of just need to make sure that we keep it as impartial as possible and no slight whatsoever on Ms. Hodges at all. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Councilmember Salem in the queue. Is it for Mr. Fackler?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Please, you're recognized.
Well, I'd like him to stay up. I believe this whole issue goes back to May, does it not? The end of it was filed in May, and we're sitting here in August, and I hear the questions you raised about how your office should handle it, but it would seem to me that would be an hour discussion, and this thing would have moved forward. Just as a council member trying to support one of my colleagues, I mean, this thing needs to move. And I agree with him that Jason Gabriel has done many opinions for us, former general counsel. It would seem to me if the council member would prefer a qualified attorney, that you would use that attorney and get this done and get this served. I mean, the issue is there, and I just like to see it resolved quickly.
If I may, through the chair to Councilman.
Can I ask one? You have a contract with Mr. Gabriel?
I do not.
You do not?
I do not. He's been adverse to the city several times. I don't know if it's a conflict. I have not reached out to him. I have discussed with Ms. Hodges.
Are you saying because he's been in an adverse situation, the city, he could not provide the opinion?
Through the chair to Councilman Salem, that would be up to him. I don't opine on other people's conflicts. That's up to him to decide. If he has a conflict, that is an issue that he would have to resolve. And if I may, through the chair to Councilman Salem, this issue arose at a hearing here on May 5th. The bill wasn't introduced until, I believe, the middle of June. I could be wrong, but it was not. May 5th is when this issue arose. That was when Councilman Howland called the Rules Committee, and I briefed the Rules Committee on the status of the alleged gun log and that gun log issue. And then there were several, and I agree with you, Councilman Salem, it's taken longer than I'd like, in part because we were trying to work with ethics and some vacations. It has taken longer than I would like. I do not disagree with you at all, and I wish we had moved faster, but those were the things that held us up.
Okay. Well, it would seem to me, and I would love to see you at least ask Jason Gabriel if he would be interested, because that seems to be the attorney that Councilman Gay would like to use, and if he's willing to do it, I would urge you to develop a contract and have it done. That's my personal thought. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more person in the queue. That's Vice Chair Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Fackler, and I'm just connecting all of the dots. One, I concur with Councilmember Gay of my appreciation for Ms. Hodges. She's helped me over my years on the council, and so there's not an ounce of doubt if she were the one that was selected. Also, having served on this collegial body, I understand that if one of my colleagues has a preference or a request, that is their prerogative and their privilege, and I, as a colleague, will support them in whichever direction, especially as the sponsor of the bill. But the one question that I had, and I might have misheard, but you mentioned an adverse or like an adversarial. We were talking about Mr. Gabriel in cases. The firm that you hired, weren't they at one point an adverse to the city in the school board situation?
Are you talking about through the chair to Councilman Freeman? Are you talking about Bedell?
I thought the name was your father-in-law.
Yeah, that's the Bedell law firm. That's the Bedell law firm.
Okay, weren't wouldn't they be considered? First of all, I guess what I'm asking, what is considered or defined as adverse?
Yeah, and through the chair, we're going to get a little here technical, but bear with me. The distinction there is, I'm not sure if Mr. Gabriel's representation of the entity involved in the Lar Street trio is still ongoing, so it would be an ongoing conflict. Bedell firm absolutely did represent the school board adverse to the city in the Shall versus May conflict in 2019. That is, of course, wrapped up. The conflict then is over for that part, unless this was related in some way to that. So there was no legal conflict.
Thank you. That context helps. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Yeah.
All right.
Councilmember Gay, you recommend.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And so as I appreciate my colleagues here seeing where my position is on this, and I would like to explore that possibility while we are still able to see if there is no conflict with Mr. Gabriel to represent. I think that's the avenue I definitely would like to pursue. So I would definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
Through the chair to Councilman Gay, I understand. I don't think the conflict is really a holdup. That's something he would have to deal with and determine. Ms. Hodges, in her 16 years, this was her focus. Mr. Gabriel is an outstanding lawyer. He focused on land use. Ms. Hodges is the appropriate person to handle it, in my opinion, and you've directed my office to do it. As everyone has said here, there is no concern about bias. Ms. Hodges is going to give us a fair writing of that. I believe she's the appropriate person to do it, and that's the person that I think should be doing it. As I suggested, if you want to hire your Office of Legal Counsel, you can hire Mr. Gabriel, and that is part of the Legislative Council's role. But I do think that as my role as the chief legal officer for the city, it's my duty to select the best attorney. And my opinion is that Ms. Hodges. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. I reached out to you several weeks ago about having this conversation. I'm happy to continue the conversation. But currently, my opinion is that Ms. Hodges is the better person to draft that.
Okay, well, that's as I've stated many times before, that's your opinion, and lawyers have opinions, so that's all it is. So with that, I'm going to stick to my precedents that what I would prefer to see, and yeah, we can have more dialogue about that. And yes, you did reach out to my office. I believe it was last week, and after many, many weeks.
I believe it was July 23rd, Mr. Gay.
Yeah, that's pretty recent. But I pretty well made my statement, and that's what I would like to see. Thank you.
Go to Councilmember Boylan. We have two more on the queue.
Thank you, Mr. I wasn't going to weigh in on this thing, but help me understand. So, assuming we retain Ms. Hodges, you will retain Ms. Hodges to write this, we will have a chance to take a look at her opinion and comment on it and review upon it and reflect upon it. At which point in time, if we feel it's not complete, perhaps the idea of going to another council in that process would make more sense, so we don't hold this process up. So, am I clear in that respect that we will have an opportunity to review her opinion and speak to her about our concerns that it may or may not have raised?
Through the chair to Councilman Boylan, you will absolutely get a copy of it. It'll be a public record. Mr. Gabriel or any other attorney will have an opportunity to review it and provide input onto it. So the answer is absolutely yes.
So I appreciate where Councilmember Gay, where you're headed with this prospect, but I think the idea of moving with direction with Ms. Hodges and then perhaps Mr. Gabriel and others can comment or opine upon what she's written makes this thing get behind us as quickly as we possibly can. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Go next to Vice Chair Freeman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My next meeting is not until 3:30, so I'm trying to stretch this one out. Yet again, someone said something that provokes thought, and Councilmember Boylan, you kind of went where I was going to go. Is in the past we have placed this burden of trust in the hands of the Office of General Counsel, only to find out after the fact that it had already been sent up. And once that bird left the nest, or once the genie left the bottle, there was no putting it back in the bottle. So again, I will go on record again saying that I do support Ms. Hodges. I also support my colleague, and he's a council member, and if he wants someone else, I'm going to follow where my colleague wants to go, because he obviously has his reasons for that. I don't know what those reasons are, but I'm sure they will be revealed over time, and so I'm going to support that. So my question through the chair to Mr. Fackler is, you just agree that what Councilmember Boylan said is the way the process would go. Can we get a commitment from you that, unlike the past when something was sent to ethics and it came back with a result already, and then we were told, well, you can, and I understand my scenario, so my scenario was different, I guess, back then. But it was when the Rules Committee had the resolution, and we as a body decided, unanimously approved by the council, for it to come from the council side to go up to the state, and instead it was sent from the administration side to the state. That's the situation I'm talking for. Remove my personal issues, because we've had that conversation and I have clarity on that. So I just want to make sure you understand the context of it. So we've had a scenario before where it was council and then we had administration, and I see that similar here, because you're saying if we want a certain attorney, then we need to get our own attorney. You're still going to move forward. I'm asking on the record, can we have a commitment from you that prior to anything leaving Duval County heading to Tallahassee, that the compromise that Councilmember Boylan just offered, which was, hey, if we get a chance to lay eyes on it, and if the itch isn't scratched by my colleague, he then can request, and I was going to ask it's so weird here because that's your boss standing in front of you, but I was going to ask, what are our steps? Because I almost want to say, how do we just expedite this whole process? Even if we wanted to bring another attorney in, what does that process look like? And I don't know if we need to get into all of that now, but I fear that if we don't, and we move on from this, we're playing catch up again. And up here, playing catch up it only slows us down from doing the people's work. So can we get a commitment from you? And I'll just end there.
Yeah. Through the chair to Councilman Freeman, I can't stop anyone else from filing.
Brett, stop. Hold on one second.
Sure.
I'm so sorry. I hate being the guy that interrupts anyone. So who do you report to? Through the chair to Mr. Fackler, who do you report to?
I don't report to anyone.
Okay, that's the best answer, right? Because your job is to represent our city.
Correct.
Okay, and so we as the elected body. So are you referring that you may have leaks in your department through the chair? I just want to make sure, because technically you should be able to work in this in confidence, or with those that you hold to a high regard of confidentiality, so that when the results are yielded in confidence with a high rate of confidentiality, you can have a meeting one-on-one in confidence with my colleague. Doesn't have to be any of my business, but then he can see it, and then he can move forward, and we may not find out until we see a piece of legislation. But when you're leaving that door open for all of those national terms, the swamp and the deep state and all that good stuff that I still don't always understand when I hear it, but it kind of makes sense at times because you're almost going down that path. So let's try to start it again. Through the chair to Mr. Fackler, when you get the work from Ms. Hodges done, because you, in your opinion, say that she's the best at doing it and her resume would support that, can we have the confidence that prior to anything being sent to Tallahassee, that we would get a chance? And I have a follow-up question if you go down that road again, because I want to know who all is working on it.
Sure. And a couple of things through the chair to Councilman Freeman. Nothing will come out of my office.
Is it a public record?
Of course.
So everything that you work on is going to be a public record?
Absolutely.
So then would it be wrong of me through the chair to ask you then every step of the way that you email me and all 19 council members on a day? Like right now, we're going to start creating more work for your office. And I don't want to do that. I like to operate with trust, but you're giving me a trust, and the verifying part is going to already be kind of eliminated.
Through the chair to Councilman Freeman, if you could just let me finish. I think
Just
we can
don't
get
like
to
how
the
you
same
start.
place.
Can you start a different way for me?
Sure.
All right.
My office will not send anything on behalf of any of its clients to the Commission on Ethics before you send it.
Quick question on that. So if an outsider from outside of your office sends something to it, do they still judge it the same and give their rendering the same? And why is that? Because anyone can send anything to them, right? So then as our attorney, in an open forum, what counsel would you give us to protect us from an outside source sending this sensitive information before we're ready for it to go to Tallahassee? As our counsel, what advice would you give? What kind of counsel? And I want everything's public record, even this matter is. Absolutely. So I don't think that I'm breaking any type of client attorney privilege here. What counsel would you give this body that puts us in line to where we can be ahead of that going out?
Through the chair to Councilman Freeman, it would be to move expeditiously. About the only thing that you can do. My understanding on the Commission of
Pause there.
Ethics.
Expeditiously once she gives you results, or expeditiously, like what else can we do now that can speed up this process? It's in your hands, it's going to her. So how do you define, and I'm not going to try to say that word again. That's like supercalifragilistic, I'll say it that way. But how else can we? And I'll let it go, Mr. Chair, but I just feel like we're getting ready to go through what we went, for those who sat on rules back when we were prior to Mr. Fackler being appointed. We're getting ready to go back down that same road again, where we're going to come to an agreement, we're going to all feel good about it, and then we're going to have a result laid in our laps, and we just have to deal with it. So what counsel would you give us? And I'm going to put the mic down, and if no one else has a bite of the apple, I'll just look forward to seeing the report from Ms. Hodges, and we'll go from there.
Through the chair to Councilman Freeman, to your point, there's nothing that is protected or confidential about the opinion or the memo that is going to go up. The facts are not in dispute at all. Everyone knows the facts, or at least everyone interested knows the facts. On April 11th, the incident, we became aware of it. The next day, we hired the firm. I am married to Hank Cox's daughter. That's not a fact in dispute. I'm still married to her, at least hopefully as of now. I'm still married to her. So the facts aren't in dispute. And my office will not send it up on behalf of any other client. You guys are, to the extent someone else asks, we'll say we are preparing a draft for them, and they have priority over any other client in consolidated government. Now, if John Smith wants to file an ethics complaint on me thinking I violated it, John Q. Public, then I can't make sure that I get it in before him. He could have filed that on May 6th or on April 12th. And so that's the best confidence I can give you. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I am working tremendously hard. All my staff is, and I commend my staff for working hard to help us build back the trust. And it pains me that we are still working on it. But that's the best answer I can give you.
Councilmember Salem.
Just through the chair, just a point of clarification. not only looking at this situation for the hiring for the mayor's situation, but also for his work on the school board and other things that he's done for the Office of General Counsel. Is that not correct?
Through the chair to Councilman Salem, I did not know that. I thought it was an issue only as to the retention of counsel.
Because I'm reading something about the school board in this as well.
Okay. Oh, well, the school board he does not represent the school board. Individual teachers and individual have retained him. The school board has to, and I worked with them, but the individual employees hired the Bedell firm. The city didn't hire.
And they're paying for it themselves.
The school board's policy required them to reimburse or to pay those attorneys' fees up front.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not following this, and I apologize. Has he been paid by through your office to do work for the school board?
Through the chair to Councilman Salem, not through my office, no. The school board has paid the Bedell firm to represent its employees.
But aren't you the counsel for the school board?
I am the counsel, and that process involved my office.
Okay.
So yes, they asked to retain him, and they asked me, is this okay? And I said, I worked with my client, the school board, and they retained the Bedell law firm.
So they requested him, and you allowed him to do the work because they requested him. And yet I've got a colleague that's requesting an attorney, and you're telling him no. Explain to me the difference.
I'm through the chair to Councilman Salem. For these individual attorneys, I mean, the individual things were involved in a potential criminal matter. They selected an attorney as chief legal officer. The process involved me approving that representation. So I approved that representation. In this instance, there's a resolution that has not been voted on or approved, which directs my office to draft a memo. We could draft the memo ourselves, but in order to avoid the appearance of impropriety, we reached out, or we did talk to Ms. Hodges, and she's on board, for her to retain it to avoid the appearance that I'm drafting a memo that is improper in some way.
No, my point is this. You could have, your father-in-law is probably the most competent defense attorney in Northeast Florida. That's what I'm told, and if I ever got into trouble, he's on my speed dial. So there's no question about that. But well, that would be up to him. That would be up to him. But they requested him for obvious reasons. They were in deep trouble. Okay, you could have said, no, I don't want you to use the Bedell law firm. I want you to use this other law firm. But you allowed them to choose that firm. That's the point I'm making.
And through the chair to Councilman Salem, I understand your point completely.
Okay.
And I've offered to have a conversation with Mr. Gay about this and explain my reasoning. I'd rather not do it in public, but I can go into further detail.
Well, I suggest that occur because I just see an inconsistency here. Now, my second question, and I'll move on from that, will your billing records be attached to this? Because to me, part of this is the amount of work that he's doing for the city in terms of an ethics complaint. From my perspective, if he's used once a year for 2 hours, I don't think anybody would question that. But if he's billing hundreds of hours, that would, to me, would be a part of, is there an ethical issue here? He's doing a ton of work for the city, and he's the father-in-law of the general counsel. Will the billing records, his billing records, be attached to this complaint?
Through the chair to Councilman Salem, there are two issues that you're raising. One is a pure conflict. Doesn't matter if I hire him for 0.1 or a $10 thing. If I can hire my father-in-law or if I can't hire him, it doesn't matter how long. Second is a misuse of position, and that's where it gets into the number of hours. And so the misuse of position would be he's not qualified and I've overused him. I don't think there are facts that can support it, but we'll make sure that Ms. Hodges looks at that issue and draft something appropriate to be sent up.
Yeah, to me, that should be included as part of the complaint. I didn't, but I'll let you and Mr. Gay meet and resolve that. Thank you.
That's what I was going to say. I strongly suggest that be the next step here, and that you both carry through with what you said you're willing to do to discuss this further. I see Councilmember Gay is on the queue again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll just close with this. We can, through the chair and Mr. Fackler, we can have more discussion and dialogue on this, but there's an easy way we can deal with taking this to the next level as a council of helping getting the representation that I guess is more comfortable to us, and we can do an amendment to this to put more into it. So we're not all lost right now. So during this deferral, I think we can help get some clarity on that. So thank you, sir.
Okay.
If I can make one more statement.
Yeah, everyone. Anybody else want to step up? We'll get order dinner if you want to here. All right. Yeah, please, Mr. Fackler.
Yeah, just one other to Council Saleman's point is the individual school board employees, we're having someone represent him or her. Here, we're representing the entire city. I'm the chief legal officer for the entire city. So it's a distinction between who's doing the hiring, not a client requesting that hire, but that was their own personal attorney. That was another distinction that came to mind.
But just who paid the bills for that attorney?
The school board.
School board. Thank you.
Councilmember Freeman.
One last thing that we've repeated that we hold Ms. Hodges in high regards, but the one question we didn't ask is through the chair to Mr. Fackler. What if she were to decline? Do you have someone else in mind? Because obviously she works out in the private sector now, and as she's working in the private sector, she's going to do business with the city moving forward. And these are the decision makers up here, and I just hate to see good people get caught up in the process as well. So if she were to go back and pull the tape on this and watch it and say, you know what, I love my time at the city, I love supporting the city, but I don't love it more than I love supporting my family, who would be plan B for you and plan C? Would Mr. Gabriel then be next in line, or is he out for you? And I don't have a dog in this fight, so I'm just trying to make sure that we close all of the loops here, just in case when we walk out of here, you find yourself saying, oh, I may not have who I wanted batting leadoff. Here's my two-hole batter.
Through the chair to Councilman Freeman, I do like the baseball analogy. They might have switched to a left-hander and I need to go to a right-hander. So I've already spoken to Ms. Hodges. She is on board. You do raise a fair point. Maybe she doesn't want to be dragged into the middle of this. Knowing Ms. Hodges as I do, I think she will say, I'm going to put my name on it, and I'm going to stand behind my work. She's that type of attorney. But that's a fair point. I haven't thought beyond plans B and C because I've had a discussion with Ms. Hodges. She was on board. She understood the assignment, and we discussed it.
Okay, I think that's it. No one else in the queue. I will say, I just listening to all the discussion, I heard the phrase to avoid the appearance of impropriety a number of times, but yet, as was pointed out with the school board, the school DCPS matters, there was no hesitation to go with who they wanted, and that phrase was not used or brought up in connection with that decision and okaying that decision. I guess this is why we end up going to the state level, but I just don't understand why that same thinking wouldn't have been applied in that situation. But again, I guess we'll get the clarification on that from the state level.
Councilman Miller, can I respond just real quick to that point?
Sure.
When the individuals with the school board raised the issue, my first call was to Ms. Oberdorf. We walked through the issue. So we'd gone through that process. I knew we'd walked through it, and I was very confident that I did not have a conflict with hiring the Bedell Law Firm. So I'd gone through that same analysis when the school board employees, even though I wasn't retaining them, I wanted to make sure that we were okay, that I wasn't stepping across a line. So that was my first check to make sure that it was okay. So then in April of this year when it came up, I knew that I didn't have an ethics complaint based on my discussions with the ethics office, and so we were able to move forward.
Okay, I get it, but out of an abundance of caution, that didn't enter into any of this either, it seems. And you can find ways to get to yes. I don't know. I don't quite get it, but again, as I said, we'll find out the state's opinion on this, and I look forward to you two getting together and hearing what comes out of that. But the only other comment I'll make is I still don't understand how you can go to ethics and figure out a way that your father-in-law's firm is approved for the school, but we can't figure out a way to get to yes and honor a council member, your client, also a council member's request for someone else. So, but again, look forward to the results of your discussion one-on-one behind closed doors as you have asked for, Mr. Fackler. So thank everyone for the lively discussion, and we'll move on with our agenda unless someone wants to keep this going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have already taken up through 16, actually. So we'll next go to item number 17, 2025-0482. I have a motion second on the bill. Don't see anyone in the queue. Open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0482. And item number 18, 2025-0522 is on second. Number 19, 2025-0523 is on second. 20, 2025-0528 is on second. 21, 2025-0529 is on second. 22, 2025-0532 is on second. 23, 2025-0533 is on second. 24, 2025-0534 is on second. 25, 2025-0539 is on second. 26, 2025-0540 is on second. 27, 2025-0541 is on second. And also 28, 2025-0522 is on second. Next page, 29, 2025-0543 is on 543 is on second. 30, 2025-0544 is on second. Item number 31, 2025-0545. I have a motion second on the bill. Seeing no one in the queue, open the ballot and record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0545. Item number 32, 2025-0546 is on second. Also, second is 2025-0547, and 0548 is on second. 0549 is on second. 550, 551, 552, 555, and 556 are all in second. Turning the page, 557 is on second, 558, 559, 560 are on second. And item number 45, 2025-0561. We have a motion second on the bill. Councilman Boylan is on the queue. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to be added as a co-sponsor.
All right, seeing no one else in the queue. Councilmember Salem would also like to be added as a co-sponsor. Seeing no one else in the queue, please open the ballot and record your votes.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you have approved 2025-0561. Going to item number 46, 2025-0562. We have a motion and second on the withdraw. Seeing no one in the queue, open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved the withdrawal of 2025-0562. Item 47, 2025-0563. We have a motion. I have a motion and second on the bill. Seeing no one in the queue, open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0563. Item 48, 2025-0564. I have a motion second on the bill. Seeing no one in the queue, open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2025-0564. Item number 49, 2025-0565. I have a motion and second on the bill. Seeing no one in the queue, open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0565. Item number 50, 2025-0566. We have a motion and second on the bill. Seeing no one on the queue, open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2025-0566. Item 51, 2025-0567. We have a motion and a second. Seeing no one in the queue, open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2025-0567. Item number 52, 2025-0568. We have a motion. Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. No one in the queue. Please open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you have approved 2025-0568. Item 53, 2025-0569. We have a motion and a second. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot and record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
By your actions, you've approved 2025-0569. Item 54, 2025-0570. Do I hear a motion? We have a motion and second. Seeing no one in the queue, please open the ballot, record your vote.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
I'd like to be added as co-sponsor on that last one too, please. Thank you. By your actions, you've approved 2025-0570. Item 55, 2025-0572 is on second, and the remaining four are also on second. Those are 2025-0573, 0574, 0575, and 0576. Are there any other actions, any other items here? Oh, Councilmember Salem, please.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Dennis. One other point that I wanted to make from our original discussion about appointments. A second problem is, from what I understand, my assistant has to contact somebody in your office that reaches out to Percy Golden, and so you're trying to schedule 3 people instead of just 2, so that that person can escort him to my door and then leave. So it's just more complicated. If you know that I'm not going to, I think Mr. Golden and Mr. Blanton, particularly out there, can find their way to my office, or at least get to the reception area, and then Miss Evans will walk them back. Can we somehow expedite that process? But for example, my aide just contacting them directly, and they can inform the administration, hey, I'm meeting with Salem, just FYI, as an example. I'll let you respond.
Through the chair to Councilman Salem, we know this is a new rules committee. Every council member handles the appointments differently. So if I can take the next week to meet with each one of you all to find out exactly how you would like the process to go. And I look at Councilman Freeman. Councilman Freeman sends out a questionnaire. So he handles his through questionnaire. He's been on the rules, several cycles. So, we kind of know how that process. Actually, we're meeting with Chairman Miller on Wednesday morning to kind of get how he will like it to, how his appointments to flow. So within this week or next week, if we could sit down with you and we can kind of go over how you will like us to proceed with appointments and each one of you all actually, so we can get that process so it could be seamless this council cycle if you will allow us to do that.
That's an excellent idea, I think. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dennis. Appreciate that. Anyone else? Thank you all very much, and thanks for those of you who are out waiting through the whole meeting for your patience. We thank you all very much. We are adjourned.